Okay, and welcome back to another issue of Tea Time with Mother and Crone. And again, we're waiting on Mother. Hopefully, she's been some injections this month. We got our fingers crossed. Christmas spirit, Yule spirit, all that good stuff coming, and she will be back. But since she's not here, I have again asked Jason to come back on the show again. So Jason is gracing us with his presence again tonight while we talk a little bit about Yuletide. Jason, I am so thankful that you're on tonight. And you want to tell us what it is that we have in our cups. And I have a new cup tonight.
Tonight we're going to discuss clove.
I got to turn that around. Cloves.
Cloves.
Oh.
We were talking about stressing, but clove has a mild painkiller aspect. If you're trying to de-stress and you're hurting, it doesn't exactly help you de-stress. Having clove and sometimes mixing with chamomile or something else will help you calm down because of the painkiller aspect of clove.
And I have to admit, if you've walked the mile for the fifth time trying to find something for somebody, I don't know about you guys, but my feet start to really hurt. And when you're trying to de-stress, anything that hurts just makes it, 100 times worse, at least?
Well, pain, there are some people that, pain makes them just very irritable and short-tempered, and I don't know anybody like that. Tend to snap a little bit more, just to snap a little bit more at people, and
yeah, I can do that really well. It's true though. You don't realize, I guess, too. A lot of times during the holidays, we're running and we're doing things, but we're also human, so we get sick, we get headaches. I mean, after the 400th time you've heard your child sing Jingle Bells, bless their little hearts, as we say in the South. Murder is not allowed, or it's very much frowned upon this time of year. So, yeah, I get the whole pain thing. I just thought it was interesting that the tea I bought for anti-stress had cloves in it. And the more I thought about it, the more I was like, well, that makes sense because if you're in pain, you're stressed.
yeah,
It doesn't matter where your pain is, your feet, your knees, your head, just pain.
anywhere. Your hands,
Yeah, from wrapping them damn gifts.
hmm you get, all locked up and
Especially you guys up always hanging
paper.
them damn
Well,
like,
it also has a antimicrobial. So if you can put clothes on it because after all the paper cuts.
and when you're out there hanging those stupid lights in sub below freezing temperatures, it might be good to have a hot cup of tea with cloves in it to ease that pain. Or, you know what? People don't remember what white willow bark is. White willow bark is aspirin, the acetylsilic acid.
hmm
A little bit of white willow bark in your tea. I mean, it's slow. I'll tell you all, it does not hit as well as ibuprofen does. I'm not going to lie to you. But if it's not that extreme, if it's just a little not feeling really good, that little bit of white willow bark in your tea can kind of take the edge off things, make things a little bit better. I'm only repeating from previous years when I tried not to kill children, cats. Oh God, don't ever wrap presents with cats. Dogs, you have to pee every 5 minutes while you're trying to wrap gifts and keep them hidden from the little guys. Yeah.
hmm
Um, I'm the grandma that goes, and what was it you wanted? Okay, that went to your PayPal account. That went to your Zello account. That went to your Venmo account. I'm terrible. I'm really terrible. But having
I wear an exercise $300 a week.
exercise 300, I've never heard of it that way, Jason. I have to remember that. Um, I stopped buying gifts for my kids when they had about 12 or 13 because we did not see things the same way. We were not on the same dimension. Okay. So it became like the oldest one, that's when Jordache jeans were out and they were like 50 dollars a pop, and I just gave her money and said, "You go buy what you want," because nothing I bought her fit, or it didn't look right. I don't quite understand when you put something on and you go, "It looks awful," unless it's a sack of a potato sack. It's gonna look okay.
I mean, even a sack potato soup, some or they started putting patterns on it because they were turning into dresses.
Have you seen Marilyn Monroe in that potato sack? Oh, honey, don't even tell me that can't be sexy because she just took it away. You just put
That was
that
just
potato
Marilyn
sack on.
Monroe. That was
Yeah,
just Marilyn
well,
Monroe. Yeah, I mean,
but I get that whole thing. But no, I'm serious. It's hard to buy for kids. This time of year is very, very stressful, not just for the normal shit that goes on and the weather.
yeah.
I'm
I love our weather. One day it.
it's kind of like Powerball numbers, huh?
Oh, let's see here. Thunderstorm warning. Oh, that's what we had today.
We had an extreme fog advisory for the last few mornings. It is daytime high here is in the high 70s, low 80s, and at night it's been dropping to like 60. So you've got this fog issue, and it's like I grew up in the mountains, so I like get up in the morning. I got up the other morning and went, "Well, damn, I feel at home. Is this for me? Thank you." I jump in my car. I know how to drive in this stuff. This is what I grew up in. So
Right.
I'm trucking down. I'm feeling good. Everybody's crawling. It was unbelievable. Well, our
Which
burn off here isn't
well,
until about 9 o'clock.
which is more dangerous than because yeah,
Yeah, here you got to remember this is snowbird time. We have all the snowbirds in.
yes,
So they're from Canada and all up north are in. So the northern guys get the fog because
yeah.
we're used to that.
We grew up with
Well, you grew up with it. And
yeah,
there's burn off everywhere in a mountainous area and everywhere
yeah.
up north. So you can tell that the southerners don't have a clue. They're the ones in the car going like, "Oh my God, there's fog." And I'm like, I got up and my phone's beeping like crazy because it's telling me I've got this advisory. And I go out to the front door and I'm like, "Where's the advisory?" Uh,
I can still see 5 feet in front of me. I'm good.
Dude, I learned to drive in West Virginia. You can't see the road 5 feet in front of you because it's going down or going around a corner or you're in the fog. So I was like, okay, but we've had it for the last week, so it's kind of been fun here. I am digging the warm weather, though. I will tell you, I am sweating in shorts and a t-shirt. So
I was gonna say it was unseasonably warm today. Yes, I had my coat. I brought my coat in this morning, but by mid afternoon I've got it off. I'm running around in a t-shirt. We had the back door open because we were moving some stuff, and
it was like, where's the cold air?
yeah, I was like, oh wow, this feels like spring, not December. And I'll probably just jinx myself. We'll probably get a foot of snow tonight, but that's
Exactly. Well, it was cold last week here. No, 2 weeks ago. It was freaking cold here. It had dropped down to where at night we had nights in the 50s.
ooh.
And then it warmed back up again. So our
Well, I
daytime
mean,
highs are around 80 now.
we've had some major temperature swings from like 30 to 60. Yeah, 30. I mean,
Okay,
30
she's
degrees.
Mother Nature's playing the Powerball,
I
picking
mean,
her numbers.
yeah. I mean, I'm sorry. That's a large temperature swing. I mean, to go from I've got frost on my window to it's typical springtime weather. It's not December weather.
Now I don't know if it's global warming or what.
Climate
I
change.
don't.
Climate change.
Yeah, I don't want to say, but I know here we were literally 81 today.
I mean, where we've had Florida style weather a lot this year, where we're fine, and then all of a sudden there's a rain, and then it's sunny skies. Literally, it's been. I look outside, see the sun, and it's raining on my head.
Oh, you're in Florida.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I said Florida weather. I mean, that's
That's what we got here. That was the hardest thing to get used to here. was the fact that the sun is shining brightly and there's water falling from the sky. And
Mm-hmm.
it's not a giant bird either.
Mm-mm.
Interesting. That was one of the unique things here. But this is really weird for us because normally this time of the year we really do, we do a cool down to where it's like, 60-ish daytime, 50-ish at nighttime. I'm on the west side, so we really don't get that cold because I'm in the Gulf. That Gulf day just keeps us nice and warm.
All right. It's it's in the evening here right now. It's 55 degrees.
In Chicago,
Oh,
55 degrees.
in this area, yeah,
Yeah.
in Illinois.
Well, you're not that far from Chicago, seriously.
I'm about 4 hours away.
Okay. But I'm saying you're not like
Right.
2 states away.
Right.
So the whole area is somewhere in the 50s.
Yeah.
See, that's incredible. We have right
Okay.
now,
Generally, this time of year, we're happy to be in the 30s.
we're at 75 right now. I just pulled it up on my phone and it's 75. I'm like, and the house it was up to the 80s today, so the house is hot.
Yeah.
You have to turn the air conditioning on to cool the house down so that you can sleep at night.
Yeah.
And this is December. Now, I bragged last year. I rented this house. We rented it in February. We started our rent in February. And I moved in February. And we have a whole house fan that we can flip a button and it just like zooms out. Well, when we moved in February, we didn't need our air conditioner. In fact, we needed the heat. And I'm like looking at it now going, are we ever going to get to that point where I can actually try the heater to see if it works? That's Florida for you, but it is unseasonably warm here for us also. 80 this time of year is not our norm. Like I said, last year, this time of the year, we were running about 60-ish daytime, which is about right, and then it drops down to February is where we get our cold spell, but this has been unseasonably warm and I have a long sleeve. Most of my costumes that I wear to work because I'm allowed to dress however I want because I work at a warehouse, so I don't care. So I have this, I just bought a new Mrs. Claus outfit and it's got long sleeves and it's a long skirt. And I'm like, we're gonna have to make that into a mini skirt with short sleeves. Yeah, I bought 2 short sleeve T-shirts with little, Christmas sayings on them. I can't wear my sweatshirts.
If you go to certain stores, you could probably already find that already made up.
I probably could, but I'm not going into those kind of stores right now. Ha ha ha.
I didn't say which store.
I didn't say which stores. But I did purchase a new one because my other one is gone to the wayside. So I got a new one. So I'm going to be Mrs. Claus. That's going to be so much fun.
Yeah, because you just don't have the beard yet for Mr. Claus.
Well, I do actually. If I let this grow out and let this grow out, no, I'll just look like an Italian woman. So
You just look like Italian.
Thanks, Mom. Give her all this, thanks. I couldn't get her curly, beautiful ethnic hair. Instead, I got her facial hair. I got my father's Native American. Like, you see this curl? Look at this curl. Isn't this gorgeous curl? Yeah, this is as much curls I'm ever going to get in my life. I used to go get perms. They lasted for 3 months. 800, like it would be $180, $200 for a perm, and it would last 3 months.
Well, my wife used to pay to get her hair straightened. It would last 2 days.
You are never satisfied with what you're born with. My granddaughter is biracial, so she has this beautiful hair. Oh my God, I love her hair. And she would literally be, help me straighten my hair. Only if you help me curl mine. So here I'm running the straightener down hers, and she's rolling mine up in the hot curler. Tell me there's not something wrong with that picture.
We always want to change something about ourselves.
We're never happy with what we got.
No.
Speaking, and that's perfect topic because we're at Yule. Oh, in a few days.
Not being happy about, remember gift receipts. Anyway.
Yeah, Yule. I love Yule. Okay, I like Yule better than Christmas. And let me explain. People always ask me, they're like, well, you celebrate Christmas too? Well, kind of, sort of, because my background is, Roman Catholic. So, yeah, but I like the idea of Yule with homemade gifts and one gift per person and it being very personal.
Hmm.
You don't, it's not like you run out and buy, run to Costco or Price Club or Sam's Club and you buy, something off the shelf. It's you make something for somebody and everybody gets one handmade gift from you. And I really, really like that. And the reason I like that, people are like, I'm by myself, I'm a single girl. If I see it, I want it, buy it. Because there is nobody going to buy it for me,
Well,
you know.
a handmade gift means your you put some effort into it. You put your spirit, I guess would be the word I would use into it. I mean, you put some time, effort to make the gift, which makes it even if you make the exact same thing three times over, each
Yeah,
one's going to be different.
each one will have a little difference. I
Yeah,
know I crochet, so each time I do, you either drop a stitch, pick up a stitch, or something's different.
yeah. Like I said, you can do the exact same blanket twice. You've dropped a stitch here. You went one more line too many, or if you're like trying to blend colors, or
Yeah, exactly. But it's always beautiful
hmm.
when you've done it. So I'm like, that's why kind of you'll, it sets more into me than going. First of all, I do not believe in going into debt to people I love them. I've worked hard all my life. I mean, I've done 3 and 4 jobs at a time. I'm not joking. I literally have. Um, and I always look at it like, okay, well, I've worked hard, truthfully, and I don't like spending a lot of money that I really don't need to. People know if you like them or not. Or at least people around me know if I like them or not because I'm that obvious. Um, but it's also, and I'm not being mean to anybody, it's also an idea when you have to sit down and actually look at what you make for somebody and
Right.
think about it.
I mean, you got to make something for that individual, what they like, what they dislike. You've
You're
got
incorporating colors or animals
yeah.
or whatever.
I mean, my coworker brought in a hat that his wife made for him. She's I said, oh, does she have red and black? Because she probably. So she's he messaged her. Having her make me one, a little
Oh
stocking hat.
my God, how special.
Yeah, but
You know,
it's
okay, for you Harry Potter fans, do you remember in all of them when Ron's mom made everybody the knitted sweaters with their initial on them?
yeah.
I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. I really do, because you know how long it takes to knit a sweater?
Well, if you watch the movies, you see it knitting on its own, but
Yeah,
that's a whole other.
yeah, that's a whole other thing. It takes a good while to sit on your butt and make something like that. I have made over the years
We're
many,
we're
many.
talking while you're sitting there watching TV, whatever. It takes hours.
I usually start February or Yule if somebody wants something specifically handmade. Now, I have an adoring daughter-in-law. God bless her little heart. She always comes up with the most unique things that she wants, and she's crafty, but she doesn't sew and she doesn't knit or crochet. So when it comes to those, she's like, "Oh, I like this," and so I get all these, creative things. Now she wants. I bought the material. The dog is going to get a mermaid tail. She has a golden retriever. Yes. So I have the material. I've not yet. I'm laying it out now to make her the material. She knows it's going to be late because she got it to me late. But when
Mermaid tail.
people, a mermaid tail for the,
Oh, you're gonna have to show this off when you
oh,
finish.
you guys will see. You
Okay,
guys saw me
okay.
knitted.
That's the word for the day is mermaid tail, by the way.
Mermaid tail, the word for the day. I made that sea blanket that you
Yes,
crochet that has the different colors, goes to the beach, and has the
the
turtles.
turtles. Yeah.
Yes, I made her that. Um, you know, and it's kind of fun sometimes when someone asks you to make them something because it means that they appreciate and understand your time, but they also appreciate the fact that it's handmade.
Mm.
So when someone says to me, "Oh," and it's not one of those, "Oh, I want one of those." No, and someone says, "You know, I really love that," and they'll make a little change on it, and that means they really want it for themselves because that change. I had a friend who said, "Could I make the sea blanket, and instead of the turtles, could I put fishes on it?" Probably. And they said, because turtles doesn't mean anything to them. My daughter-in-law was born in Maryland. Fear the turtle
Hmm.
or Terrapins, University of Maryland. So that was kind of her thing, you know, because it was fear the turtle. So she had three little turtles on it. But when someone asks for something that's handmade or they make a big deal of it, to me, something made, you put in the time, you figured out what I want, what I like, how I like it, and you put in the time for it. And trust me, when you crochet stuff or make something like that, it's not days, it's months to put that crap together.
Hmm.
I only say that because I do it.
Well,
Um,
I you knit. Well, I do chainmail. That is what I.
you do the
And,
chainmail,
yeah,
but I'll tell you
but
what,
it's also. But speaking of stress relief, I mean, even knitting and things like that, while you're sitting down doing it, it is very stress. I mean, it's stress relief. I mean,
do
you're.
you make the chainmail pot cleaners?
What do you mean the?
Okay, I went to a Renaissance festival and I have a square of chainmail that's this big with a big ring on the end of it. And
Mhm.
you clean your pots with it because it won't scratch them because it's all
Mm.
circles. It's about
I've,
this big.
I've not. I've never made one.
You'd never, they had them at the Maryland Renaissance Festival. Somebody was selling them for like $15. And I bought one just because I knew the guy doing it. And that has been a staple. You can use it on your cast iron because it doesn't scratch because it's all circles.
Mm.
And you just do a quick rinse around with it, and it gets all the like if you bake or cook like bacon and stuff in your cast iron, it gets that
Yeah.
crud on it.
Yes.
That takes it off without scratching anything. Oh, I love it. It's just hot water and that, and I clean the whole pot.
Well, usually
What
I
do you think
do.
about it?
Like I said, I do. Chainmail shirts, chainmail other things I've made, but I've never made any of those because I
Try that.
usually. What type of metal were they using? Is it
It's whatever the chainmail was. I mean, I paid, I don't know,
well,
$15.
right? But I mean, it could have been because
Yeah.
certain metals are like the chainmail that I usually make the suits out of is galvanized. So
I would
galvanized
have to
steel.
think it would be. It hasn't changed colors. I've had it for about 10 years. Hasn't changed colors, hasn't done rusted or anything.
Well, if
And
even even the galvanized because I use butted chainmail to literally twist and turn and um, because you can get riveted chain now, which is round, but instead of butted together, you actually rivet the
oh,
pieces
you actually
together.
rivet it. Yeah.
Rivet together.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to show you pictures of it. But
You're gonna have to send me pictures. Anyhow,
yeah, because I got it.
all
Did
right.
sit there.
We've talked about Yule. What
Okay.
other holidays?
All right.
Oh,
Let me tell you. I did my research. I'm sitting here looking at my notes. Of course, we all know Christmas. We all know Hanukkah. Okay. We Kwanzaa, which is an invented holiday, but it has good thoughts. Boxing Day, which is Europe, and
okay.
that's
Say what little about Kwanzaa.
Kwanzaa. I did not know that much about Kwanzaa. It was actually created in 1966 after the Watts riot in Los Angeles.
Hmm.
Um, it was an idea to bring together families during the holidays. And in African American families, there's always been that separation that the whole family doesn't get together, like, the daddy and the mommy and that kind of thing. So he combined the aspects of several different harvest celebrations. This was Dr. And I'm gonna crucify his name. So just to let you know, Maulana is his first name. Malana, Karenga, Karanga, I'm guessing. And what he did was, it's called the Fruit First Festivals. And that's actually what Kwanzaa means. It's from a phrase, Matuda ya Kwanzaa, which means first fruits in Swahili. So it's a celebration of 7 days where you celebrate seven ideals that you hope to aspire to. So, I mean, it's a really good thing if you think about it. It's 7 nights, and the children light the candles. And on the seven principles, values of African culture is discussed. So they learn a little bit about their African culture, and they learn a little bit about the ideals and what they need to set as their goals. So I thought that was really interesting. And it was
So
nice.
in that aspect, it has the what we do, what Catholics do for Advent, as well
Exactly.
as Jewish people do for Hanukkah.
Right, for the Festival of Lights at Hanukkah. So that was really interesting. I thought that was a really great concept. And if you take that concept and look at those principles, you put them into use. It's kind of like Hanukkah reliving the Maccabees. They're putting what history back into reality, into today's world, what happened, 3,000 years ago. So I really like that idea. So that's a good one. We all know what Christmas is, and that is all left up to Pope Leo, who decided that he had enough of Saturnalia, he had enough of Yule, he had enough of all the other crap, and Jesus was going to be born on December 25th. And that's
Okay.
how you get Christmas.
What is Saturnalia?
Saturnalia. I keep trying to talk my boss into this. I actually had to look it up. I'm Italian. I admit it. I really didn't know that much about it. Saturnalia is interesting. It is actually um, a festival in which it's ancient Roman. So this goes way back, and we're honoring the god Saturn. Okay. And it normally was held on the 17th of December of the Julian calendar. So that makes a little difference. And it went through to the 23rd of December. And it was a holiday, okay, of drinking and debauchery. Okay, so it takes a whole week. If you're debauching, you can't drink. If you're drinking, you can't debauch. So you got to have a whole week. This is my thing to my boss. Um, it was celebrated with a sacrifice at the Temple of Saturn, and then the public banquet followed by private gift giving and continuing partying and a carnival atmosphere. Okay, the Romans had their act together. Was also seen as a time of liberty for both slaves and free men alike. It was a common custom to elect a king of Saturnalia. It was King Saturn, and that would who would supposedly give orders to the people, which were to be followed and presided over with merrymaking. So it's like everybody needs to have a drink every hour or something, something silly. And a lot of the gifts exchanged were gag gifts. They were, the fun kind of stuff. And it was called, many of the poets and many of the historians of the day used to call it the best of days. It's kind of the
Okay.
equivalent to the earlier Greek. Now, you got
Okay.
to remember, guys, the Greeks started, the Romans followed.
Okay. So, what did they have on their heads? What was the thing that they had on their heads that everybody wore, free man as well as?
It doesn't say. What do they have on their hair?
Hold on.
All I know is that the king, in historical Western European Christmas, the custom of electing a lord of misrule has its roots in their Saturnalia. So when you hear that, it's interesting that it's such an old midwinter custom it was really celebrated. So I'm trying to get him into the idea that I need 7 days off to drink and do debauchery. Somehow it's not working.
Hmm.
He just keeps looking at me going like, really? I'm like, really? It's a real thing. There are like
Well,
30.
there's a special hat that
What is the
well,
hat?
I can't find it right this minute because
It's
I'm
so
looking it up.
beautiful.
But it's kind of a funny hat that both that you're supposed to be wearing. It's kind of like northern. They have the. It's just a funny hat that they wear, but
As long as
everybody
it's
wears
not
it.
a cheese hat, I'm good.
No, it's kind of got pointed. It's kind of a pointed hat. Kind of reminds me of a witch's hat. That's why I was.
Or a dunce hat, the
Yeah,
kind of conical. Okay, a witch hat. Y'all get that? It's a witch hat.
yeah,
So
but it's
make
not.
sure you put your witch's hat rather than being in black and purple, can be red and green. Um, and all they're saying is it was celebrated and expanded to go through the 23rd, celebrated with sacrifice, a public banquet, followed by private gift giving. So, y'all, it's out there. Hanukkah is the festival of lights. Hanukkah is interesting. Uh, I got a very good education in that. I used to work at the Baltimore Jewish Times. Thank you very much. I learned a lot. It's an 8-day celebration that commemorates the rededication of the Second Temple in Jerusalem. It's known as the Festival of Lights because what happened was they only had enough oil for one day, and for whatever reason, the oil lasted for 8 days. And that is truly a blessing. Um, and you do a whole lot of cool stuff. You know, you like the menorah, you repeat the songs and the biblical responses. It is really interesting. For whatever reason, the candles kept burning for 8 days. Um, and then it's each on each of the holidays, 8 days. Another candle is lit, and there's a little gift given for each night. So they have 8 nights of gifts, but it's not big gifts. It's small, little gifts, kind of like Advent calendar kind of things.
Mhm.
And you play the Dreidel game. Of course, I love the Dreidel game. I always lose, but I love it. Um, and then its blessings are recited, the traditional foods such as latkes. Oh, let me tell you, there is one thing I love are ethnic festivals because it's always surrounded by food. I don't care what ethnic group you belong to. When you celebrate, you eat. And I love eating. So these are my holidays, people. Latkes, oh my goodness. Let me tell you, I ate my weight in those. They are
Twice
wonderful.
over.
Quite literally, when I worked at the Jewish Times, every time there was a Jewish holiday, they have food specific to those holidays. So they
Yeah.
bring in all of this food, and you're like, oh, it's good food. So you're like, both hands, and you're appreciative, and you're telling everybody how good it is, and they're just thinking you're the greatest thing in the world because you're eating their food. Yeah, I'm into that. If it's a holiday with food, I'm there. Sorry,
Feast of unleavened bread.
matzo bread.
Hmm.
I love a good matzo bread. And
Oh, I'm not arguing that. That's one of my favorites.
my favorite, I lived in Baltimore. Baltimore had the second largest Jewish population in the nation at one time. So we have a whole area in Baltimore. And I used to go by challah bread. I mean, I would go once a week. I literally drove all the way across. It was like an hour drive to get it made fresh. I could not make it right. I don't care what I did. Mine never turned out right. So I
No.
would go buy challah bread. I'm buying challah bread for Easter. Think about that for a minute, guys. Yes, I did. Because when I started buying, I loved it for the taste. My kids loved it. And then the next thing I know, my in laws and all the family loves it. So I've got to send somebody all the way over to the other side of town to buy challah bread for for our Catholic holidays. Don't ask. It worked. Always mixed food.
Well, you're just going back to your roots.
Yeah, I'm just sharing food. It's just like I absolutely love challah bread. That is one of my favorite breads of all time, and I love it for them when they have the little hats that are filled with like it's kind of like a meat pie filling. Oh my God, it's so good. Okay, the next fat holiday. That's how I know it. In Scandinavian Italy, they have Saint Lucia. Okay,
Okay.
which is an Italian saint that died as a martyr. She's seen as a figure of light. Blah blah blah. She's remembered and celebrated on December 13th. So in Sweden, it's a symbol of light and hope. And it's important because it's marked by atmospheric concerts and processions featuring singers clad in white, wearing the headdresses, featuring actual, and that's where you see the headdresses with the little candles in them.
Yeah.
That's St. Lucia. A lot of people think that's Christmas, but it's not. It's St. Lucia because that usually happens somewhere around December 13th ish, depending on where you're at in the world. So that's another one. And that's a fun one because again, it's eating because they have all the food there. And it's considered pagan, believe it or not, even though it is honoring a saint, it's considered a pagan category a little bit because Saint Lucia, with a lot of the saints, they were canonized after they were dead. So like Saint Bridget in Ireland was a Druid priestess, but she did so much that she was honored and she became Saint Bridget. So sometimes you got to look at those merging of facts. I don't know how else to say it. That's basically the only
Well,
way I can say it.
when you're going back that far, it becomes legend.
Yeah,
I
basically.
mean, you're getting stories that have been passed down, that's been passed down, that's been passed down.
And every generation puts a little bit on or takes a little bit off.
Yeah.
So we really don't know. But it's kind of one of those fun things. So I know a lot of people who see the Saint Lucia and they're automatically going, "Oh, that's Christmas." It's like, no, no, honey, that's Saint Lucia. Being Italian, I do know the difference, but when we see that, that's our cool thing. Um, then you have a lot of, with there's this one. I love this list that I got, by the way. This list is absolutely
And where did
fantastic.
you get this list? Or you
I actually went online to about 7 different sites. It took me all day to find this on the weekend. Um, because there's like, okay, global holidays. December 1st was United Arab Emirates National Day. December 4th is Ghana Farmers Day. December 6th is Finland's Independence Day and Spain's Constitution Day. The 10th is Thailand Constitution Day. Oh, I'm sorry. The 7th is Thailand King, and let me murder the name again, Buma Bold's birthday. December the 12th is in Mexico. It's the Day of the Virgin of Guadalupe. The 16th is in Bangladesh. It's the Victory Days. In South Africa, it's Day of Reconciliation. The 13th is Malta, Day of the Republic. The 18th is Qatar. Y'all pronounce that one. National Day. The 26th is Boxing Day in Europe, which is a fun thing. And in Slovenia, it's Independence and Unity Day.
Okay, Boxing Day. What is Boxing Day?
Boxing Day. That is cool. I learned about this from my mom because my mom knew about it because she was working in England. And this is an interesting one. It's only celebrated in a few countries. It's very small, and it originated in the United Kingdom, which is Ireland, Scotland, Wales, and England, just to give you an idea. During the Middle Ages, it was a day when collection boxes for the poor were often kept in churches, like they are now. When you go in, the little boxes that you put your change in were opened and their content distributed amongst the poor, a tradition that still happens in some areas. It's also the day that servants were traditionally given the day off to celebrate Christmas with their families. This is the 26th, the day after Christmas. They were given that time off because if they were servants of the family, the 25th is when the family had all their friends and relatives in, so the servants had to work. So the next day, the servants were off. It's now become a public holiday in the United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand, among other countries. Those are the majors. In England, soccer matches and horse races often take place on Boxing Day, so that's a little bit of fun. The Irish refer to the holiday as St. Stephen's Day. I knew it as St. Stephen's Day. I did not realize that Boxing Day and St. Stephen's Day were the same day. Um, and they have their own tradition in hunting the wren, which boys fasten a fake wren to a pole and parade it through town. In the Bahamas, celebrate Boxing Days with a street parade and a festival called Junkanoo. So it's celebrated a lot, but it's basically the day after Christmas where those who were in servitude or working got the day off. So it kind of be like our retail stores closing the day after Christmas,
Right.
which is never going to happen.
No.
No. But that's kind of what it
Well,
would be.
but a lot of the times a lot of retail stores have been closing for Christmas. So
I was surprised at the number that closed this year for Thanksgiving.
I was happy to see them closing on Thanksgiving.
I was ecstatic when I
I
was a
mean,
young person.
when I was a kid, my mother worked at Walmart, and
Oh,
everything for years they were closed on Thanksgiving. It was that and Christmas. I mean, basically only in that was the only two holidays they had off.
yeah.
I mean, that was
Basically, yeah,
yeah,
because there's not much else. Every other holiday, there's got a sale going on.
yeah. But after Sam Walton passed away, it seemed to change after that. But we won't go into how the culture of Walmart changed after his passing.
But I was surprised that a lot of the stores are now going back to closing on Thanksgiving to allow our American Thanksgiving. Let's clarify that
Yes.
in the fourth Tuesday of November. But a lot of the stores are closing and they're finding out they're not losing sales.
Mm-mm. No, I
So,
mean a lot of the sales have just been put online, which for the last couple of years, that's a lot of how people have been shopping.
well, because of the COVID, a lot of people can't get out and shop. Seriously, I don't see why they aren't closed because you have plenty of time to shop online.
Yeah.
Black Friday, as we call it here in the United States. Now, I'll tell you a cute little story. My late husband worked for the state of Maryland under the Department of Education. They were asked to give up one of their private personal days to have the Friday after Thanksgiving off permanently because there were so many people asking for that day off, they could not staff the offices in the state. The state of Maryland is shut down on Black Friday.
Hmm.
And they did it as a group. Um, and as much as I didn't like it because the state has so many holidays as it is, he was off half the year. Um, I really liked it because it didn't promote they really didn't promote it to do the Black Friday. They did it because nobody was there to work in their offices.
Right.
So it gives you that 4 day holiday. You can do with it what you want, but you get 4 days off that you can actually breathe,
Yeah.
you know? And I really like that because as the person who did most of the cooking, when you got home Wednesday off of work, you started in that kitchen and you cooked
No,
all
no,
day.
no, 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 no. You already had stuff. You already had stuff percolating while you're at work. Don't
We
get me
don't
started.
even count that. We're
Okay.
counting when you hit the door on the Wednesday night, you have a list that long of all
Yeah.
the crap you got to get done before the next dinner. So our house Wednesday night was Pizza Hut night or Domino's because there's no way I have my oven, my
Okay. I can picture your house. They're eating pizza. Someone's shoving a piece of pizza in your mouth as you're stirring and
as I'm running across the front yard to my mother-in-law's house to check on the turkey I have in her oven, the turkey
yeah,
I have in my oven, and the ham that's in the other oven.
yeah.
And I'm running literally.
You have four burners going on your place. You have at least two burners
Oh,
going into
and we
at
have
least
the grill going.
yes. And then you have the
Poor
rack of lamb
husband's
on the
out with the
grill.
girl.
You got the rack of lamb on the grill just because
So you have to remember, I catered and I owned my own catering company. So the assumption was because I catered, I could cook for
a dozen.
umpteen million people.
Yeah.
And my cooking must be good. That's all I can say because people came back year after year to eat again. So it must have been halfway decent. But it was, and in Maryland, oh my gosh, do not cook a turkey if you're not making a separate plate of oyster stuffing. That is against the law in the state of Maryland, by the way, just to let y'all know. So I had to have regular stuffing. I had to have stovetop stuffing because this is homemade stage stuffing. This is stovetop, and this is oyster. So you had three kinds of stuffing. And that was true at Thanksgiving as well as Christmas.
And Easter.
Easter, we did the hams. Hams, yes. Oh, and I don't
Well,
do
okay. Right around Easter, usually that's when we had the ham and the lamb.
ham and the lamb. I always tried to do lamb chops,
Yes.
whatever I could get. Now, it was tough sometimes in Maryland to get a shank or to get the crown
Hmm.
because you just couldn't get it. It comes from New Zealand. Actually, is most of the lamb we got was New Zealand lamb. I don't know about
Yeah, I
you
don't know.
in
I don't know where
Chicago.
its name comes around here.
Oh, in Maryland, it was mostly New Zealand lamb. And if you weren't there, if you didn't already put your order in with the butcher, forget it. You're not going to find it in the grocery store. So it was before Easter hit. I go to the butcher, and you're juggling phone calls because you got the butcher on this line for the ham, you got the butcher on this line for the lamb. And you're trying to get everything together. Oh, cooking is lots of fun. But Christmas always involved a ham and a turkey, occasionally a goose or a duck. His, his sisters, his sister lived on the Eastern Shore, and the other sister was married to a hunter, so it's whatever they brought home. Like, oh, what is this?
Hmm.
Oh, it's a duck. Oh, okay. And what would you like me to do with it?
Pluck, pluck, pluck.
Oh, yes. So, yes, we would have duck or goose, ham, turkey, and all of the 400 million sides that go with that
Yeah,
that I won't even talk about because they're Irish. So they had their Irish stuff that I learned to cook. And then I had my Italian family. We had Italian stuff come in. So our table,
Okay, okay. What would you prepare for the Irish side?
believe it or not, champs, which I can eat. Colcannon, I cannot.
Okay.
I would eat the champs. I'd make champs and colcannon. I always did an Irish soda bread, and that would be depending on what literally my father-in-law asked for. If he wanted raisins, currants, uh, dates, or whatever in it, because you can make it like 400 million different
Oh yeah,
ways.
there's.
So whatever he wanted that year, he would say, "Well, I want so and so," and I'm like, "Okay, that's what you get." And I would make a loaf or two, usually of whatever he requested. A lot of times it was raisin. He really liked the raisin, and the dark raisin, not the golden raisin. So there's a difference there in how you cook it. So I would make him his soda bread, his colcannon, his champs. Then I would make regular mashed potatoes. Then I made the candied yams and the sweet potatoes with the marshmallows in them. So yeah, and then all the vegetables, and then his sister would bring me the fresh oysters from the Eastern Shore because that's where she lived. And I mean, we're talking fresh by not even being just being in a Tupperware or a Ziploc bag in ice is my oysters.
So
So I'm
you had to
shucking
crack them. You
oysters.
had to crack them in.
I'm shucking oysters. So we had oysters on the half shell, and I always made the sauce to go with it. But then the oysters that I would say, okay, these are mine to cook with. These are yours to eat. I had to make that separation.
Hmm.
And then, of course, we always Baltimore, we had to have crab cakes. You have to have crab cakes in Old Bay on your table at all times. That is a religion. Okay. So, and you laugh, but I'm serious. I would make crab cakes for Christmas. So we'd have the fresh
Kind of like the
crab in
oyster dressing, right?
the oyster dressing, the crab cakes. Oh my gosh. By the time I got done cooking, I felt like I'd been through a war. But he had two brothers and two sisters, plus family and aunts and uncles and whoever else happened to come by. So I was always cooking for at least 30 people, 30 to 50 people every year. So I based my allowances on that. But yeah, in Baltimore, you got to have seafood or, you're condemned to die in hell, some level of hell. I'm not sure which level it is. But I made sure we had crab cakes and steamed shrimp, Baltimore style, go with Christmas dinner. And if anybody's heard the song Bobby Du Bois, and you can look it up, it's called Crabs for Christmas. There is a real Christmas song called Crabs for Christmas. It's made by a guy from Baltimore, and it's about him wanting crabs for Christmas. So if I could get them, and a lot of my friends were commercial fishermen, and I would put my calls out, and I'd try to get at least 3 or 4 dozen crabs in, and I would steam crabs for Christmas out on the grill. That does not happen in the house. That's an outside activity.
All right. Well, our time's up.
But we're going to hit really quick a couple more that might not be well known to other people. That even though you're celebrating Christmas, and this is why I like happy holidays, because there's so many freaking holidays at Christmas that you just can't keep them straight. You actually have Buddhism, which is December the 8th, and it's a day of enlightenment. So if you're Buddhist, we're celebrating you. Christianity, of course, has Advent. Believe it or not, I didn't hear of this one for a while. St. Barbara's Day is December the 4th. Okay, and that's a big thing. December the 5th is the Feast of St. Nicholas, is celebrated in parts of Europe on the 5th and the 6th. In the Alpine countries, remember St. Nick is who we get our Santa Claus from. So that's kind of an interesting.
What day is Krampus Day?
Krampus Day is December the 5th. Yes, I love Krampus Day. I have been posting, and everybody who's on my Facebook knows I have 4 million posts of Krampus. Why? Because I think that is the best way. Look, we never did Elf on the Shelf. We had Belt on the Shelf. But we never had Elf on the Shelf. And Krampus is a way to keep those little buggers in line until Christmas hits, and I really like Krampus. I do. And that's December the 5th. And that's in Alpine countries. That was more of a thing up there. And it was about St. Nicholas, and it was about the stockings, because he would put the gifts in the shoes or the stockings. And that's where we get your stockings are hung by the chimney with care.
The hope of St. Nicholas soon would be there.
Exactly. And then you have the Feast of the Immaculate Conception, December the 8th. And that's a very big Catholic feast day. And then, of course, you had St. Lucia. The longest night, woohoo, that's us for the winter solstice. Okay. I shout that out because a lot of people don't understand what Yule is. It's the longest night, shortest day of the year. So that's kind of interesting. In December the 19th is actually in most Slavic communities is St. Nicholas feast day. So you're talking about the Slavic communities over by the Balkans celebrated that then. Anastasia of Smyrna is December 25th, as well as Christmas. So that's another feast day. You have the 12 days of Christmas from December 25th to January 6th. Do you know why it's that long? Because the 7th is what? January 7th? Feast of the Epiphany.
Yes.
And that's the Epiphany. My sister-in-law was born that day. She always thought as a little kid they kept the Christmas tree up because of her birthday. They kept it up because of the Epiphany. That's okay. She had that for a while. But that is a very important day. And from the 25th until the 6th of January, the 12 days of Christmas, that's when you get all the wonderful, Partridge in a Pear Tree and that song that everybody knows, Five Golden Rings. that everybody can say.
Every
Hinduism.
year in a tree. Oh, that's the other. That never mind.
Yeah, we have a pagan version of that, which is so cool. If you're interested, if you go onto YouTube and type in pagan Christmas songs, there is a singer out there, and I, for the life of me, cannot remember her name, but she does the 12 Days of Christmas. She does Dancing in a Winter Wonderland. I mean, she has a repertoire of every Christmas song done with pagan lyrics. I highly recommend if you're tired of whatever, you hear jingle bells, another time you're going to strangle somebody. Go on there and look. Also, look at some of the other pagan artists. I know Cloud has a couple out there that are really
Wendy Rule.
cool.
Wendy Rule.
Wendy Rule, S.J. Tucker, Mama Gia. I can sit here and list them all off. But if you're really interested in
Brian
listening,
Hinkie just put one out.
oh, did he really?
Well, I
When
don't
did
know if
that?
he just put one out, but I shared it on my page.
Yeah, I
He shared
saw
it.
that.
He showed. Then he. I'm like, yep, I got to share that.
Right. There's so many songs out there that have a pagan base to them that go ahead and go on YouTube, download them, give the singer some credit. But this one girl does them all. She does Dancing in a Wiccan Wonderland. Oh my God, that is so cool. So you've got all of that going on, and on top of it, like Hindu, you have the 5-day Hindu festival celebrated from the 21st through the 25th, and it's in honor of Ganesh. Who can beat that one? I mean, really, mid-December to mid-January is, and I am not even going to try it. It's called Movable, and it's Vayakontra Ekadashi. And I know I really butchered that one beyond all hope. Um, December 23rd is a humanist holiday originated by the New Jersey Humanist Network in celebration of a humanist version of a good future. Think about that. Of course, we have Hanukkah, we have Yule, we also have Poliada Slavic. It's a winter festival celebrated in late December with parades and singers who visit houses and receive gifts. In the Persian calendar, December 21st is Yulda, and it's a turning point, the winter solstice, the longest night of the year, and the beginning of the lengthening of days. And in Iran, it means birthday eve. So there you go. Satanism. Hey, we're going to throw this one out here. The 25th, Sol Invictus, a TST satanic celebration of being unconquered by superstition and consistent in the pursuit and sharing of knowledge. I mean, that's pretty cool. You also have World's AIDS Day. December the 1st has something to keep in mind for everybody out there. You have the International Day of Disabled Persons, December 3rd. Boxing Day. Human Rights Day is December 10th. If you feel your rights have been in any way defiled, that's a good thing to think of. Hogmanay. The night of December 31st, the dawn before January 1st, it's a Scottish New Year's Eve celebration where they eat that haggis crap stuff. We're not even going to go there. Okay. Now, if you do not celebrate December the 25th as Christmas or as a religious holiday, Newton Mass, Newtonmas, is an alternative to celebrating the religious holiday, Christmas. Some atheists and skeptics have chosen to celebrate December 25th as Newtonmas Day due to it being Isaac Newton's birthday. So that's something to keep in mind. Then we have Kwanzaa, New Year's Eve. Oh my God, everybody knows New Year's Eve. I'm not even going into that. Y'all suffer with your own hangovers. No, there is no magical spell that will take away a hangover. Sorry, you're screwed.
Yeah, there is. There's a magic spell you can use.
What?
Don't drink.
Don't. Thank you, Jason, for that one. That's going to go over well.
Well, that is the magic spell, not to drink. I mean,
That's the only way to do it, and I'm going to tell you. Otherwise, hangover. They have Miss Osaka is December 31st, and that's a Japanese traditional celebration, the last day of the year. In the Zuni and Hopi, it is December 21st. It's called Soyal, winter solstice. We already know what that is. Zamenhof Day is December 15th, and that's the birthday of Ludwig Zamenhof, the inventor of Esperanto, holiday reunion for Esperantists. Okay. And Watch Night is December 31st, and Salbriach is December 13th, and it's a celebration of the Shia Ismaili Muslims of their Imam. So there's so many holidays out there. I don't want anybody to think that anybody is pulling them out or disregarding them. When Christians say Merry Christmas, they're actually expressing a holiday thought of the time of Christmas. And if you look at Christmas for what it really is, it's a giving holiday. It's a holiday of family, of home, of hearth. It is the ending of the year, beginning of another year. So don't take offense when people only know Merry Christmas. Many times it's because of their ignorance of all the other holidays. I always reply back with Happy
Yeah,
Holidays.
we've been studying religion for,
Oh my God, too many years.
yes, and some of these were new to us. I will have to admit, some of them were even new to me. And we.
Well, the UU churches. Now, when I say UU, I mean the Universalist Unitarians who have a CUPS program, which is the pagan side. Yay, them. December 13th is a celebration. I'm sorry. The first week of December is a holiday created in 2005, celebrated by some UU churches. So, I mean, and then they have the fictional parody. Okay. Now, if I remember right, I saw one in here that just blew my mind away. They have a lot of different fictional, a Star Wars holiday special, Life Day, Wookiee Celebration of Life, featured in the Star Wars holiday special, in which Wookiees gather with family, wear long red robes, and sing under a sacred tree of life and reminisce. Okay, that is a made up holiday. That sounds pretty cool. Um, I have a list of all these made up, like Hogswash is a celebration of the fictional world of this world, very similar to the Christian celebration of Christmas. Festivus. This is my favorite.
Festivus. Festivus.
Festivus. Okay, December 23rd, a parody holiday created by Daniel O'Keefe and made popular by Seinfeld as an alternative to Christmas. There you go, people.
Airing of grievances. That's part of the holiday.
Yeah, there's like, I don't know, 30 listed of not real, how do they put it? Fictional or parody holidays. There's like 30 of them. I'm sitting there going, who thought of this shit? But somebody did. So when you're looking at the holidays, December is jam-packed from 1 to 31. Whatever you celebrate, celebrate with your family. And me,
And
hey,
celebrate with love.
it's a celebration. My ass is there because I like to eat, I like to drink, and I like to have fun. So if that's your idea of fun, celebrate it.
Debauchery. Debauchery.
Debauchery. That's what I keep telling my boss. If I'm debauching on Monday and Tuesday, then I need Wednesday to rest up and drink so that I can back out Thursday and Friday and debauch again so that I have the weekend to drink so I come back to work on Monday. He didn't quite buy that. So I'm going to have to work harder next year.
Yeah. You're
So
gonna.
all I want to say to everybody out there is celebrate how you celebrate. All I can say is make your own traditions, make
Happy
them in love,
holidays.
and happy
Okay.
holidays from us to you. And I hope you enjoy them. Have a great night, everyone.